Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of National Institution for Quality and Reliability, I extended warm welcome for this virtual convention this evening on the theme Robust Quality for Survival and Growth. I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. S. Rajashekaran, National President, NIQR, to deliver the welcome address.
Guest of honor, Dr. Shivakumar, Managing Partner, RV Industries. Distinguished speakers for the convention, Mr. Satish Borwankar, Executive Director and COO of Tata Motors, and Mr. A.K. Tomar, Executive Advisor, Corporate Planning, Maruti Suzuki India Limited, Mr. B.C. Datta, Vice President, Hyundai Motors India Limited, and Mr. Satish Kumar, MD, Salcom India. Distinguished guests and industry leaders, student members, faculty members of various institutions, and the members of NIQR and the office bearers of NIQR. Very good evening. It is my pleasure to start this first digital convention by NIQR. Many of you are aware we conduct biennial conventions in a physical manner. Last convention was held in 2018 at the Chennai Trade Center where more than 1,000 delegates participated. It was a grand event for 2 days. This is the year for physical convention in 2020. Due to the pandemic, we have postponed the convention to 2021. But at NIQR, we never wanted to step back from our responsibility of conducting a convention, and we came out with the idea of conducting the first digital convention, the theme Robust Quality for Survival and Growth. I hope the entire evening for next 2 hours will be really a joyful experience for every participant, and there will be a lot of great takeaways from this convention which really helps them to sustain, survive, and also succeed in the near future.
Now I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. P.T. Bharani Perumal, Convention Secretary, NIQR, Chennai branch, to deliver on about the convention.
A delightful good evening to everyone who has joined with us for this convention. National Institution for the Quality and Reliability has been conducting a 2-day grand convention once in 2 years on different themes relevant to current industrial scenario. Why NIQR is conducting this convention? You can have this question in your mind. As one of the policies of NIQR is to play the role of an enabler for MSME and industries in general by familiarizing them with the latest trends and tools from time to time as a capability build-up measure. I welcome and thank you all for being part of this evening. Wish you all a happy virtual convention. Thank you.
I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Sasikumar Gendam, Managing Director, Salcom India, to deliver the session on emerging opportunities in virtual world. He holds MTech in Manufacturing Management from BITS Pilani, Executive Master's degree in Business Administration from Aalto University, Finland. He is also an alumni of IMD Switzerland. Salcom is a Finnish company, world's largest manufacturer of mobile chargers, supplied to top 20 OEMs. It has manufacturing operations in India, China, Brazil, Finland, Taiwan, Japan, US, Korea, and so on. India has 3 manufacturing factories, employed around 7,000 people at 2 sites, Chennai and Noida. Recently announced a massive expansion in Tamil Nadu, leading to 1,000 employment. Mr. Sasikumar is associated with the company since the inception, and he has been instrumental in transforming Indian operations to a high-performing unit with the group. Prior to Salcom, he was associated with Toyota Electronics Corporation and Eichel Technologies, Bangalore. Passionate about giving back to society, he has recently constructed a skill development center at Kanchipuram, which was inaugurated by his teachers. Being a teacher day, we should note this. He is also passionate about Dr. Kalam's India Vision 2020. He is an advisor at Dr. APJ Kalam's International Foundation House of Kalam, Rameswaram. Over to Mr. Sasikumar Gendam, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And, I would like to thank specifically Dr. Swaminathan for providing this opportunity and then inviting me to be here on this very special day. It was a very enlightening session to hear from my previous speakers as such. And all the three were from automotive industry. So I'm totally from a different industry on which also they spoke about, which is the electronics industry. And, when Mr. Tomar was presenting about Nokia, I think I could recall every single day of what was happening, to this, because we have been part of this in and out every single day. So with this short intro, I would like to move ahead with my slide. Being the last is always very challenging. You have to keep people, informative, and also I hope this presentation you would find not only informative but also a bit entertaining. So quality. I mean, I'm not sure what this slide would mean to many, but everyone has their own interpretation of what quality means. And for us, as individuals, as industries, as different countries, this means different. I mean, we just spoke a lot about the quality from China, the quality from India, quality from Germany, and all that. So meaning it's all about perception. So there's a lot of perception to quality. And if you just take a cloud of quality, you see there are lots of words that come up. This is what people look at quality as such. But then in general, it's about, there are several interpretations as we discussed. There are many factors to these interpretations, and they're many times very subjective. But in common terms, it is all about, acceptance, creating a positive impression, then, exceeding expectations and providing an experience of delight. I mean, that's end of the day, what quality is all about. If you can satisfy your customer, and when your customer gets the product on their hand, or, they're like a car or a two-wheeler, the wow feel that they get, I think that's quality end of the day. And for organizations, what does this really mean? I mean, doing things right, even when nobody is looking. I think if we can get to this culture in our organizations, I'm sure, we're all here to succeed. So we have to have quality as a culture in our organizations and maintain quality as a habit, keep quality as a mantra for existence. But then end of the day, we all know, at what price did we buy something? We all forget. But I don't think we ever forget the quality of a product, because we experience it day in and day out. So with that short note, I think the topic given to me is about opportunities in the virtual world today that will live. We have all really experienced in the last 5 months, since March 23, or even slightly before that, what this pandemic has actually done to each and every one of us. I think there isn't a country, there isn't an organization, and there is an individual who has not been impacted by this pandemic. But then every crisis also provides an opportunity. And therefore, in this specific case, the getting quality in the form of digitalization has really activated fast. And we also heard from the previous speakers as to how they do all things digitally. I mean, electronic e-audits, virtual audits, virtual qualifications. Probably, that would have been like a Alice in Wonderland, for many of them when we had to talk about it. But the situation today has actually forced us to adopt to this new change. And in this new change, it's all about data driven. I mean, wherever you are in the world, it's all about data. It's so much data driven, and you get data real time. And we are using this as a forward looking process, meaning we use this data in such a way that, it's helping our future predictability and all those. So therefore, this pandemic situation, I would say, has only accelerated our growth and our adoption towards digital technologies as far as quality and reliability is concerned. And about, this digital transformation that we spoke just now. This is not only, connecting the quality function or the manufacturing function, but today it's connected across all the organizations, from almost HR to until finance, until you recruit a new employee and you're paid your vendors. I think every single process is towards digital today, and the digital transformation is here to stay. And every function is not just depending on each other. I mean, it's not just independent anymore. So they're all so interdependent and they're so interconnected. And this transition from quality assurance and moving to digital assurance, I think that's happening more faster than we ever expected. I mean, in our case, we had a quality audit, a third-party certification audit for the ISMS certification. It was very interesting also for me because it was the first time experience that you could do all the audits. I mean, you can take your webcams to those specific locations where the auditor wanted to see, and then ask questions online, answer online, and we did get the certification to online. I mean, this is the new world. So it's changing that fast, and it's all about how we really adopt to this change. And the information today that we have, all the data that we collect from our manufacturing processes, design, supply chain, whatsoever it is, they are all accessible anywhere, anytime. As an example that I would say, one of our customers are from the US, but then the production here that happens in Chennai, in Sriperumbudur, is 100% available. The data is available real time, on time to the customer there. If there is a problem, they know next second that there is a problem in the production floor. I mean, gone are the days where you have to send an email or a fax, or you have to call the customer and tell them, now I have a problem, what to do next. I think they call you and tell you what to do next. Whether you have to move forward or you have to stop the line and then make actions and move forward. So it is that fast these days. And second, control towers. I mean, this pandemic has only accelerated this. For example, sitting at home, I could really monitor every single data of every single machine, every single line, every single factory as to how they are performing. And then you can exactly go to that specific, the manager or the line leader who is in the line and tell them, ask them for some clarifications. But of course, it's not about policing, but it gives you information as if you are in the factory, wherever you are, whether I'm in Chennai or I go to Delhi or I go to Chicago or Tokyo, you can really see this data real time. That's how the world is moving forward there. And when it comes to all the equipments, the technology is moving forward. They're also talking to each other. I mean, you have all the equipments connected, or they call it manufacturing execution systems. So one equipment is talking to the other, and then, if the data is not within the control limits of, 3 or 4 consecutive data points, they definitely talk to each other and do a kind of a self-regulation or self-alignment. That's how, the world is changing today. And all of this, is it only in virtual, or is it really a reality? This is definitely a reality. I mean, this is how we run our factories. Data like this is populated in our factories, which is what I want to show also in the coming slides. And it's also very real time. All the information is real time, as I previously mentioned. And then, very collaborative. We have, as in the introduction he mentioned, so we also have factories across the globe, and we have teams in many countries. So information, is collaborative. It's all digital. It's all talked in different time zones, whether in the US or whether you are in Europe or whether in the other part of Asia. It's all absolutely available online and, collaborative and managing from different time zones. So that, I mean, the digital transformation, and especially from this quality assurance point of view, I think, this is really helping us to move there. And this is a visual factory. This is how I can see from my desktop sitting at home. So my factory line here, production line, and then you can see all the data one by one, starting from, the AOI or, the next machine, next station, how is the productivity there? How is the yields of each and every particular process? All of them are populated online. All of them are available online. And they also kind of, do self-controlling and self-regulating. And all of this are done in Chennai and in Sriperumbudur, and it is really possible. So to summarize the previous discussions, the transformation from quality assurance and moving towards the digital assurance, where everything is available at your fingertips, just on time or in time, and then for to make decisions immediately, is really moving absolutely fast. I think it's for all of us companies, especially MSMEs. I mean, there were lots of discussion about MSMEs. What should MSMEs do? I think MSMEs should be way ahead of the leap curve. I think we have to look at, even though they are smaller actions, but we have to move way ahead of the leap curve. Small improvements. I think let's not take a big change that we want to do. We can take a small part of it. For example, inspection as one process, or the end the quality assurance as another process, and see how we can make it digital. I'm sure you will be able to impress your customer and give them the information that it is reliable. And then here is what we are making sure that the traceability of all the lines, everything that you need is available online. And moving to specific opportunities, I kind of focus this in 4 areas moving forward. One is the automated test and measurement systems. I mean, it's all digital. Measurements are digital these days. I mean, you don't have to move one by one everything. You put a board or a product there, and then you program it in such a way that I think it measures itself and populates the data, including the CPKs and all that. So this is one great opportunity on the measurement and test systems. And the next is the supply chain quality itself. I think today we all know many of us actually use systems where all the time, from ordering and until issuance and dispatch of materials, it's all seamless. Be it SAP or be it many other ERP systems that we use, it's all in digital form, and including issuance of machines are via AGVs. And this really helps in companies adopting these newer norms, and especially on traceability. I think that's the key point here. And next is the maintenance and service. I mean, using the augmented reality, where you use a virtual tool, and then you kind of measure, you do all the measurements, and you can also see the aging factors, and all of that is possible with the VR at least, and AR. So these are the new things that's at least on the maintenance and service areas for equipments. But the next opportunity, or the biggest opportunity that we all see, is also that the future of learning, especially with the AR and VR. In the introduction, they mentioned employment. I think we are planning now to recruit 10,000 people. It's not 1,000, so 10,000 people. And imagine if we have to train all the 10,000 people one by one, it would really be kind of a daunting task. But then with the AR and VR, you have to get this done once. That's it. And then you really train all your 10,000 people exactly same way. I mean, you see how much technology is aiding in this and making lives of the people from training functions or other functions who are supporting them really making life easier. And at the same time, using the digital technologies, you communicate the data exactly in the same way to all your operators, all your staff, whether they're in all the 3 shifts, different factories. This is the possibility of AR and VR, and this is a reality already now. And with this, I would say the key takeaways would be that quality is doing things right as defined, even when no one is looking. So with this, we have cameras all around. We have monitoring from the factory. So therefore, there is no need for anybody to be physically there in the place. And doing things right is a habit. I think it's a culture that we will all have to develop in our organizations and also as individuals. And the next is virtual world is definitely the new reality. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, customers, sit 5,000 miles away and they monitor, they see your lines from here as to what is happening. And in our case, as I mentioned, it's a very, very high volume business. I mean, it's a safety device. Charger is a safety product, as we all know. When it comes to your hands, it has to be really safe. So therefore, at high volume, I mean, it's impossible to make a small mistake or a small change. So therefore, this virtual world really helps to simulate all the conditions and make sure that, we have things and lines under control. And the next is, let's all be ahead of the curve, and we have to embrace this change. I think it's either do it or not do it. I mean, if we do, we grow. If we don't do, I think we die. As simple as that. And being ahead of the curve is especially very, very important for MSME organizations. And also, as previously Speaker Mr. Datta mentioned, huge opportunities that's coming towards India. That's a reality. At least, I've been part of many government forums, and I've been part of many discussions in the policy making. And there are lots of improvements and lots of development that's coming towards India, and organizations also coming towards India. And this is happening as we speak. So opportunities are very, very much in our hands, but it's for us, how do we take it and how do we use it? So let's take a pledge that, that quality starts with me and I'm responsible for quality. Thank you again. for being patient. And it's so heartening to see there are still about 300 plus participants on a Saturday evening. Amazing. Thank you again, sir. Thanks, NIQR.
How does a small company adapt all these technology changes? How do we go about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question and a very valid question in the current situation. And I'm a strong believer of MSME. I mean, MSME are the backbones of our economy. And, if our neighboring countries have really grown big, I have seen many companies myself, I visited hundreds of companies over there, all of them who started really small. But today they have become really mega companies. And how was it possible? They were also MSMEs once upon a time. What they did is very focused approach. Take steps one by one. Of course, pricing was a big criteria for them, and quality was also a criteria or a secondary criteria. But then, we have to put quality as a first criteria so that, we're able to differentiate between us. So focus on what's really critical for your customer. And then, use digital tools in a smaller way, one by one. You don't need to make big investments. As I want to state another example, some of these things that we have done are even as small as 70,000 rupees. I mean, you don't need to invest 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. And there are also equipment that we invested which cost 50 lakhs. But then there are things that we started with 70,000 rupees and graduating towards, 50 lakh equipments. So I would say make that move step by step, one by one, and start small. That's my request to all the MSME friends. Thank you again. Thanks for the opportunity. Excellent. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suma Mayappan, for excellent facilitating of the question answer session of all the speakers. I really thank you, sir, for having given us totally a different dimension for quality. Even though I was in quality for a long time, both as a senior employee and advisor, this kind of definition is more apt and it will exceed customer requirement and expectation, leading to customer delight. You are very well brought out the need and significance of digital world in our business. The closing was excellent, touching the words like virtual, augmented, mixed realities, which has made us more thirsty. Last but not least, the word adaptability. Thank you a lot, sir. Have a great day.
We at NIQR are planning to conduct our next convention, hopefully a physical convention, in August 6th and 7th, 2021 in Grand Chola Hotel, and for which we request you all to participate so that all of us contribute to the quality movement in India and worldwide. Thank you, one and all. Now the convention is come to an end. Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.